Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a quick unboxing of Adventure Tactics, but this is not going to be the core game. This is going to be the all-in pledge for all the second edition stuff that was for Adventure Tactics. There is no core game that's going to be part of this unboxing. It's just going to be the second expansion and all the stuff that came with that along with it for the base game that was done a while ago. On top of that, it'll come with everything else that was part of this expansion. This is Colin's pledge. It's his all-in pledge, so I'm going to open everything here. We're going to take a look at what we see. Then in a future video, Colin will be doing a playthrough of the new stuff that is part of Adventure Tactics. If you're interested in seeing some of the base game, Colin did a playthrough of it over on the One Stop Co-op Shop. You can check that out. Also, Ryan over at Meeple Marathon did a playthrough as well, and Paul Darcy did one as well too. I'm going to put all three of those links in the description of this video, so if you're interested in seeing how this game is played, at least the base game, you can go check those out there. Now let's get to unboxing all of these boxes, and let's look at a side quest, and we've got alternate cards, and we've got tons and tons of player boards to go through. And if that's not enough, there is a box about the size of your closet to stick everything in. So we're also going to take a look at this and how everything goes into this. So if you're ready to check out the big box storage chest and everything else that came with the second edition of Adventure Tactics, then I need you to meet me at the table. The first box is going to be the expansion itself. We'll take a look at what is inside here. It's going to have a campaign guide, the expansion rulebook. Of course, it's a small rulebook because it's only going to include the stuff that's part of the expansion and what has been added to the game. Again, like I said, there's a lot more that you're going to learn from if you check out those 3 videos I put a link to in the description on how this game is played and everything that goes along with it. But the campaign guide, the way it works is you're going to start with a little mission here, and you're going to have to choose an option. As you choose that option, then the game is going to unfold around you based on those options for your party that you're going to be playing with. And I don't want to spoil too much of it, but there is quite a bit of story and things that go along with it. Of course, as you choose the options, you're going to be fighting certain enemies on certain battlefields with certain objectives that you're going to have to deal with. We're going to move into this. We have a new player, or these are the player boards, and you're going to be able to put all of the stuff onto this player board. You have your class feature, you have all of your health points over here, you have dice that you're going to be able to manage, and your passive abilities. Up here, you'll have your equipment that you're going to use. And then it also has, I guess this is the character, one of the little new characters that come in this game. It also is going to have a box. Here it is. The box that's going to be able to hold all your equipment and your class-specific stuff into here. The way this is played is you're going to start as a particular first-level class. And as you go forward, you're going to gain more experience points. But the experience points aren't going to necessarily level up that class. They're going to allow you to branch off into other classes or be able to expand that existing class even farther. It all depends on what you want to be. If you want to be like the ultimate alchemist, you could just keep leveling up like an alchemist skill, let's say. But if you wanted to be like a potion brewer of wizardry, you might have to have like 2 levels of wizardry and 2 levels of alchemist to be able to make a potion, level 1 potion brewer, which will have its own abilities. So the sky is the limit as to what you can actually make in this game. It's very similar to the role-playing game that I remember from a long time ago called Final Fantasy Tactics, and similar, or Ogre Tactics, or things of that nature. We're going to put this aside. We do have a bunch of standees, but standees are no longer the thing for this game. They have a whole set of miniatures that go with it. But of course, they do give you the standees if you wish to use those, and you don't want to walk around with either gray or unpainted miniatures, or if you get a chance to play with some painted miniatures, that's awesome. Of course, if you're interested in seeing any painted miniatures, I do try to do a painting stream about once a week on my channel, so please check out those live painting videos when I get a chance to do them. In here are going to be the cards that go along with this, and it looks like we have a couple of our miniatures. I'm not exactly sure what they are. Again, I apologize. This is Colin's copy. He knows a lot more about this game than I do, but we do have a few of the miniatures. Wow, these miniatures actually look really good. His original base game had the miniatures for the heroes, but these are much better from what I can gather. They look really cool. This is going to be the new, I believe, player character that you can have in the game you can choose to use. We'll put that aside and we'll start digging through our cards. The first thing we have is some of the new class cards. Like I mentioned, you'll be able to power these up. This is going to be your starting class, and this is the new one for this expansion. This is going to be just like the Archer, Cleric, Fighter, Rogue, or Wizard from the base game. They start as a level 1 character that you have, and they're going to have a set of cards that I'll show you shortly. These are other ways that the class can develop. It can become an Oracle, a Druid, a Mimic, and a Lancer, and based on what other classes you level up for this particular character, you'll be able to unlock and use the cards and abilities from those particular classes. For example, they have a list right here in this book on how to get to them. I apologize for any glare. As you start was right here is the Alchemist. You can become an Oracle if you have 2 levels of Alchemist. If you want to become a Lancer, though, you have to have 2 levels of Fighter and a Rogue along with your Alchemist level. You can become a Mimic with a Fighter, Archer, and a Wizard level with it, and you can become a Druid with 2 Cleric, a Fighter, and a Rogue along with it. So it's really kind of cool. And of course, based on what you decide to do, you're going to get certain movement points and hit points based on the class you're playing and cards that you can use in your deck. For example, here are some of the ones for the Alchemist, and as we go forward, we're going to see some for the Oracle, which are slowly coming up soon, I hope. There's some Oracle cards coming up. Here we are, and we're going to see some of the other cards as well. We have the Druids right here. We have the Mimics. The Mimic, oh my gosh, this one looks pretty freaky. And of course, we're going to end off with some of the Lancer cards at the end as well. Then we have some items and accessories that have to do with the game that I believe you're going to be gaining through the story and stuff, so I don't want to spoil any of those at the moment. And that's what's in this deck. Let's check out the others. The next set of cards are ally cards. In this expansion, you may run into some allies. It looks like there's about 3 or 4. Again, don't want to spoil too much about them, but all these allies are going to do is tell you kind of how to run them, and I believe the rest of the ally is going to be found in the adventure book as you're playing through it, because it'll show you kind of what it is. I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's where you're going to find the statistics and what each of the characters can do. For example, this one says it will move and make a basic attack. So the basic attack, I think, will be found in the adventure book, whatever that is. So they do have their own set of cards that you're going to be using for each of the different allies that you may find throughout the game. There are also a whole bunch of new bad guys. I believe these are kind of more of the boss cards right here that you're going to be fighting. And again, very similar to that, you're going to flip over the card and deal with it. This one says Chieftain Maple uses Bonk, and Chieftain Maple move and makes a basic attack. The cool thing about this game is the gameplay itself is just about as awesome, if not, well, I shouldn't say it. This game has 2 aspects of it that are really awesome. The game itself is cool, but leveling up and making those characters is absolutely awesome. For example, here we have all the cards for using these new characters, and they'll tell you everything you get. So you'll get a giant backpack, and you'll get the passive called Potion Toss, which I'll show you in just a second. On top of that, this is going to be your starting hand. Now, of course, like I say, as you level up, say you want to become just an Alchemist, you want to stay an Alchemist, you're going to get these powers. And say you want to be a level 4 Alchemist, you're going to continue gaining cards and things of that nature, and passives and powers and things. But now say you want to become that Oracle. Remember, if you have 2 levels in Alchemist, you can become an Oracle. So now you get this instead, and you'll be able to gain these hit points and things of that nature. These classes are, of course, locked, and these ones are not because they've got the card there. In the back, it does have other things as well that show you, this is the level 1 Oracle, what Celestial Fury and Heavenly Barrier, whereas opposed, oh, there's the same thing, I think. Okay, I think the same thing on both sides. Okay, and then we have the level 4. Then, of course, we have that Mimic, which tells you everything that the Mimic can add to you, and then we have the Druid. We also have our Lancer, which can give you Thorn, or not Thornwall, but you get a heavy dive class feature, and you get the Griffin Heart passive. Then you can get +2 dive. You get a heavy dive. You can dive, dive. It sounds like I'm singing a Nirvana song called Dive. All right, we're going to put these aside and move into those smaller cards, and these are going to have, like I said, some of your passive and your abilities as well. So we have like the Druid, the Mimic. Here's our Potion Toss. The range of your elixir cards increases by 2. So if we look at our elixir card, that will give us a range of 2. Here's our elixir card. We're going to be able to use this, and it heals a target based on what you roll. And it has a 0 to 1, but with that passive power, it is a 0 to 2. But you're only going to have that, I believe, if you stay an Alchemist. Once you move away from the Alchemist, you may lose that passive power. Again, I could be wrong about that. I haven't played enough of this game to remember exactly. Well, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. That's all I got for those. Now, of course, there's ones for each classes. We've got the Druid, we've got the Alchemist, and we also have the Oracle and the Lancer as well. Here's that Griffin Heart one we saw. It says once per encounter, the first time you would reduce to 0 hit points or fewer, you get back up to 1 hit point. It's almost like having a half-orc power. All right, we're going to go to the next and last couple things here in the box. We have these tokens. Now, the initiative is always drawn with tokens, and I believe one of them is going to be like the Alchemist right here, but the other one is a new one. one. It's going to be it's going to be used based on some of the story elements that you're going to use. And this will also be going into the things. You're going to mix them all up and you'll flip them over to see who goes. I think is how if I remember how it works. So they do add a new element to some of the adventures as we play through it. That's going to be it for what's inside the actual expansion box. Let's go take a look at some of the other material. The next thing I thought we'd take a look at is the big box of miniatures, because no game is complete without looking at its miniatures, because this game originally was all done with standees, so now they have miniatures, and I love the fact that they actually already have them color-coded for the game. We have some of the bigger miniatures down here that we're going to be facing, and on top of that we've got the colored miniatures for some of the minions. These are kind of neat. I like the fact the way they did those. Those are really kind of cool. They use them in different colors. That's kind of awesome. All right, we'll take a look at a few more of these, and then we'll move down to the next set of miniatures here. We got a giant lizard here. Now, I apologize, I haven't played this in a long time, so I can't remember exactly who is what and where, but we'll remove this one, and I bet there's more underneath. Yes, there is. Why wouldn't there be? Well, they're absolutely all over the place. That's what you call shipping right there. So let's look at this jungle best we have here. I'm going to move some around. All right, let's hear. Oh, this I think is one of the orcs I think you originally fight in the very first beginning of the game. We have some orcs here. Here's another one of them right here. We have some of these little dudes here. Oh my gosh, can't get those out. That's fine. We'll go with this guy. Just take a quick look at some of these. This looks like a Cthulhu type creature. Now, again, like I said, I haven't gotten too far. I think if I remember right, Colin actually his playthrough was against these two creatures here. So if you're interested in seeing what these things do in action, please go check out his playthrough. I think that's when I know exactly where they go right here. If I can get them back in. Yeah, they go back in. All right. It's just, I can't believe it turned out like this. This is pretty awesome. The good news is none of them are broken, and they actually do have a good, they really feel like they stay together really well. I don't think they're going to break very easily at all. So they actually have good feel to them. I believe that's it. I don't think there's another box underneath this one. Nope, just another miniature laying in the box. But that's about it. All right, let's move on to some more. Next, they have the box for the enemies for the new expansion here. These miniatures, oh my gosh, these miniatures look so much better. No offense to those other ones. These look really, for some reason, the quality on these looks so much better than the ones I just looked at. I don't know if there was a difference in printing versus those and these, but these really look a lot more detailed than the other ones I was just looking at. And they feel a little bit more, I shouldn't say sturdy, but just have a different feel to them or for some reason. But these actually look really nice. I'm pretty impressed with these. These are, again, I'm guessing some of the monsters we're going to be finding as we play through that game. That's really all that's in here is just these. I don't think there's more miniatures on the bottom. This thing takes up all that dead space. No, there's no more miniatures in there. Okay, that's the end of that box. That box went pretty quick. Let's move on to the other things. Next, we have the side quest book that was written, and this is kind of cool because it has different adventures that you can play as one-shots or side quests that you can give yourself a challenge or not challenge. It's up to you how you want to play through this. I'm going to show just one, but do know that all the adventures in here are a different level. This one is for level 3 adventures, and it has a whole mission that you can do. So it's pretty cool that there's stuff outside of the campaign that you can play. If the campaign wasn't long enough, the campaign itself is a pretty long endeavor, which is pretty awesome because you can experience all those different classes of characters. And now they're adding even more with these side quests. And there's quite a bit of side quests. I think there was like 6 or 7 of these going through here. I'd have to look again exactly how many there are. Well, actually, it probably tells me. I bet if you look exactly in here, it'll tell you exactly how many of them there are. Well, it's pretty easy to figure out because you can just look over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like there's 6 different missions you can do. So I believe you can either add these into your campaign, or you can do them all as one-shots, or you could do this as a small little mini adventure if you wish to as well. So there's different ways of being able to incorporate this book into your game. One thing I failed to mention about those side quests is that they all are written by different authors, which is kind of cool. So they had to guest people be able to do those. These are the player mats. One of the problems I know from the core game when I did play it a long, long time ago is that the player board itself was slightly warped, and I think that was an ongoing issue for a lot of people. So now they have these great player premium play mats that you can use. These are the Nero Premium stuff, and each one of them has a different character on it. So for example, here's the wizard character. We have the thief character. We have the new new character right here, our alchemist character. We have the fighter, we have the ranger character, and then we have our cleric as well. And if that was enough, they even made player mats for the summons that certain classes can get, either the skeletons, the beast, or of course the turret. We have all of these different summons that these characters can be able to put out as well, along with the playmat that, just like the other playmat, instead of sliding them into the sides, they just have spaces for them out here on the on the mat itself. Coming close to the end here, we do have alternate art for some of the characters from the game. We have the Beast Hunter, the Dark Knight, the Demon Hunter, the Ninja, the Paladin, and we have the War Mage. So we have all those, the Beast Trainer. Those are just alternate arts from what I understand. Now let's take a look at that big, huge box. This giant big box storage, just to give you an idea of size, if you know the dimensions and the length of Kingdom Death Monster, it is actually a little bit shorter than Kingdom Death Monster this way, sticks out farther this way, and is equal to pretty much a little bit shorter than putting both the Gambler's Chest and Kingdom Death Monster together. So this is a huge, thick box. This is the biggest single box I own, or not own, but have in my house right now when it comes to board games. Of course, this is going back to Colin's house. I'm not going to store this. It's out of control. This is super big. Now, of course, if you have everything, this is perfect, because once you can get everything in here, you don't need any of those other boxes. And it shows you right here how to do it, which is super important. It does put the enemies into these mini trays that are in this box. That's kind of cool. So you can ditch that whole box. You can put those trays right in here, and you can hold onto them. This is very similar to like the way Cool Mini or Not does it. They have like a whole box in there for you. Then they have all the trays for everything. They have the card chest right here, which is going to be able to hold all of your cards for the entire, every game they have out there for it. They're all going to be able to fit into here. On top of that, you're going to be able to put some of the enemy or minis down at the bottom of this. They're all going to fit into these areas here. Then we have the standee storage, so you can put all the standees there, so you have access to those. This is where the walls and terrain tiles and standee storage go, and they have the large standees are going to go underneath the token tray that is found right here. That's pretty awesome. So this will hold, from what I understand, it looks like it's going to hold absolutely everything that this game has to offer. So it is nice to have a one-stop shop for this, which is pretty awesome. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about is if it's going to hold the player mats. It doesn't say anything about the player mats, I don't think, on here. Let's take a look here. Mini trays, tuck boxes, player boards. Oh, it does say play. Well, I wonder if it's it's going to be the original player boards, token tray, card chest, and enemy pack. Where did the tuck boxes go? I missed where that went. That must be part of. Well, it looks like they're going to fit all along the side over here. Okay, they're going to fit along the side on this area over here, I believe. No, I think it's underneath the mini box. Maybe it is. I don't know. No, they fit in here somewhere. But it is cool that everything is going to be able to fit in here. And from how much space there is, of looking at how this is laying up next to the box, I think you could put the player mats in here. There may be a little bit of lid lift to it once you put the player mats in there, but I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. I can't believe there'd be a lid lift on a box like this, but I don't think all the player mats, those premium player mats, are going to fit into this. So there you have it. That's the big storage chest for Adventure Tactics. This thing is monstrous. It's absolutely amazing. All right, so that's it. That's all I got. That's the unboxing of Adventure Tactics. Of course, this is the second edition of the game, or the second crowdfunding of it. It's an all-in pledge for that particular bundle. The base game is not here, like I said, because that is already, Colin already owns it, so I don't need to be doing an unboxing of that. It's been out for a while. And like I said, if you're interested in seeing a playthrough of this game, Colin will be doing a playthrough of the new stuff using the Alchemist and being able to experience that character's growth. And if you're looking for playthroughs of the first core box, please check out Paul Darcy, Ryan over at Meeple Marathon, or of course Colin did one over on One Stop Co-op Shop. Please check out those channels. I'll put a link to those in the description of this video, guiding you to those particular playthroughs. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content comes out, including the playthrough of Adventure Tactics. Also, feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Has anybody had a chance to try this? How excited are you to start getting back in into this game, now there's a whole second edition and a whole new campaign to go through. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, please feel free to check out the Patreon. The link to that is also in the description of the video. Some of the perks that Patreon members receive is that they're able to watch my playthrough videos usually a day or two beforehand without commercial interruptions. On top of that, as we play through the game, I asked them for specifics as to how we should continue leveling up our characters, what characters we're going to play with, and what games we will play in the future. So for example, if we were doing adventure tactics, I would be asking after each episode kind of how they would want me to level up my characters so they can decide how the game goes forward as we progress. Those that have joined the Patreon are shown here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to you. They help me, like I said, make these games continue on, and they give some great input as to how I can go through it. Because sometimes I kind of get stuck on what I want to do. It's nice to have other people telling me, hey, let's do it like this. So there you have it. That is the unboxing of Adventure Tactics. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you're excited to see Adventure Tactics or anything else that Colin and I are going to play, then I need you to meet me at the table.